You wake up, and before your eyes are even fully open, you feel it. That slow, aching stiffness in your legs. The way your back resists the stretch. You sit up on the edge of the bed and pause. Not from sleepiness, but from that quiet question that's been creeping in more often these days. Where did my strength go? It wasn't a single moment, not one fall, one illness, or one missed walk. It was gradual, like the tide pulling slowly away from the shore. You once carried groceries with ease, reached the top shelf without hesitation, took stairs 2 at a time. Now even getting up from a chair requires a little thought, a little effort, and maybe lately, a little fear. You've seen friends decline. You've watched once vibrant neighbors shrink into smaller versions of themselves. And somewhere deep inside, you wonder, is that the path I'm on too? Is this just how it goes? But then, another voice, quieter, wiser, one that says, maybe not. Because what if your body was not just breaking down, but calling out? What if muscle loss wasn't the end of the story, but the beginning of a new one? One where strength returns, where walking becomes easeful, where standing tall isn't a memory, it's your new normal. This is not just a list of foods. It's a path back to yourself, to vitality, to dignity, to the power of feeling strong in your own skin again. And it starts here. Sarcopenia. It's a word most people have never heard until it starts showing up in their lives, quietly, invisibly, like a slow wind that reshapes the landscape. It means muscle loss, but really it means much more than that. It means standing at the sink and needing to lean. It means walking more slowly, not because you want to, but because your legs no longer move with the same confidence. It means seeing the world shrink, not because the world changed, but because your ability to move through it did. And maybe the hardest part? It doesn't just affect your body. It touches your spirit too. Because losing strength often means losing parts of your independence. It becomes harder to carry your own groceries, to reach for a pan, to open a jar. Things you never gave a second thought now come with effort. Or worse, require help. And that can feel like losing a piece of yourself. But here's what I want you to hear, deeply, truly. It doesn't have to be this way. Muscle loss with age is common. Yes, but it is not inevitable. Your body is still listening, still responding, still capable of change. And today, we're going to talk about one of the simplest, most natural, most powerful ways to begin that change. Food. Not pills, not gimmicks, not impossible routines. Just real everyday foods that support your muscles from the inside out. Foods that can help you walk farther, stand taller, and feel more you again. Because this isn't just about muscles. It's about mobility, memory, heart health, connection, and the dignity that comes with being able to care for yourself, to move freely, and to say, I've still got it. So let's take this step together. One day, one bite, one small act of strength at a time. What if everything you've been feeling lately, the weakness, the wobbliness, the way chairs seem lower and steps feel steeper, what if all of it wasn't just getting older? What if it was your body whispering, feed me better, support me, I'm still here? You see, we've been taught to believe that aging is a slow unraveling, an inevitable march toward less and less. But what if that's only part of the truth? Let me tell you a story. Margaret is 78. She used to be a dancer in her youth. Nothing professional, just joyfully spinning around her kitchen, music playing, laughter spilling out into the air. But in the last few years, the spinning stopped. Her legs felt too tired, her arms too heavy. Even walking out to check the mail felt like a chore. She told herself, Well, I guess this is what 78 feels like. But one afternoon, over tea, her granddaughter said something that stuck. "Grandma, you still have a dancer's heart. Maybe your body just needs a little help catching up." That night, Margaret began a quiet revolution, not with supplements, not with gym memberships, but with food. Small changes, a handful of this, a sprinkle of that, nothing dramatic. But within weeks, she began to feel different, a little steadier, a little more herself. Today, Margaret doesn't spin like she used to, but she dances again, in her own way, in her own rhythm. And that's the truth. Your body isn't done. It's waiting, listening, hoping you'll give it what it needs to support you in return. Because what if the most powerful medicine isn't found in a pharmacy, but in your kitchen, in the food you choose, the nourishment you offer, the love you give your body in each small daily act? Let's begin with the first of 7 foods, gifts from nature that can rebuild what time tried to take. Are you ready? Your body is like a house you've lived in for a long, long time. Over the years, it's seen storms and sunshine, laughter echoing through its halls, and seasons of quiet. The doors might squeak a little more now. The floorboards groan when you get up at night, but it's still your home, and it still responds when you care for it. And one of the most powerful forms of care? What you feed it. At 70, nutrition isn't just about eating, it's about healing, about choosing foods that don't just fill you up, but build you up. Foods that speak the language your body still understands. Because here's something most people don't realize. Your body still builds muscle, even now. It still listens. It still adapts. It still hopes. The difference is, the signals have to be stronger, clearer, more intentional. That means giving your muscles the nutrients they need to wake up again, stretch out, and begin rebuilding what's been quietly fading. I think of Harold, 82 years old, a widower, and a proud gardener. He told me once, "I used to think food was just survival. Now I see it's my toolbox." He started small, a boiled egg in the morning, a scoop of Greek yogurt in the afternoon, a few walnuts sprinkled over his salad. Nothing fancy. But within weeks, his energy returned. His legs didn't feel so shaky when he knelt by the rose bush. "Have you ever felt like that?" he asked me. "Like your body was just waiting for you to notice it again?" So here's the truth. Nutrition after 70 isn't just about avoiding disease. It's about reclaiming strength, memory, and vitality, one meal at a time. And now, let's explore the foods that can help you do exactly that. There's a kind of tiredness that sleep can't fix. It's not just from age, or poor diet, or sore joints. It's quieter, heavier, and sometimes it settles into your chest like a weight you can't quite name. Loneliness. Maybe it comes after the loss of a partner, or when friends move away, or when your children get busy and the phone rings less often than it used to. And when that silence stretches out over days or weeks, the body feels it too. What most people don't realize is that loneliness isn't just an emotion. It's a physical state, one that can raise your blood pressure, weaken your immune system, slow down your muscles, even shrink parts of your brain responsible for memory and focus. Your heart doesn't just ache metaphorically, it truly suffers. I remember meeting Lillian, a retired teacher in her early 80s. After her husband passed, she barely ate, not because she didn't care about health, but because eating alone just felt empty. But then, something shifted. A neighbor invited her to join a small cooking group for seniors. Nothing fancy, just sharing recipes and stories once a week. At first, she resisted, but eventually she went. And something beautiful happened. Her appetite returned. Her energy lifted. Her smile found its way back to her face. I didn't realize how much I missed being seen, she told me. Have you noticed how your body responds when you feel truly at peace? When someone looks you in the eyes and listens. When you laugh with someone who remembers your name? This matters deeply, because food doesn't just nourish your muscles. Connection nourishes your soul. And when the body and soul are fed together, something powerful happens. So, as we explore these muscle-healing foods, remember, they work best when shared, even if it's just with a friend over tea or a quiet conversation after a walk. You don't have to do this alone. Here's something you need to hear. You don't need a brand new diet. You don't need to throw out everything in your pantry. And you definitely don't need to follow trends made for people half your age. You just need to feed your body with quiet intention. A little more of what strengthens, a little less of what depletes. That's it. Think of it this way. Your body is like a garden, and even in the later seasons, it will respond to care. A bit of sunlight, a bit of water, and the right nutrients. And it begins to bloom again, slowly, surely, steadily. So what does that care look like on your plate? For many seniors, it begins with protein. Not massive portions, just enough at every meal to whisper to your muscles, you matter. Stay strong. That could be a soft-boiled egg, a scoop of cottage cheese, a bit of chicken, or even a spoonful of nut butter. Next, color. Foods with deep, rich colors, like spinach, berries, carrots, and sweet potatoes, carry the antioxidants that protect your muscles and joints from inflammation and wear. And don't forget healthy fats, like olive oil, avocados, walnuts. They soothe the body from the inside out and help you absorb the nutrients that support strength and clarity. But here's the key. Start small. Add one new thing to your breakfast. Swap one ingredient in your lunch. Snack a little smarter in the afternoon. Like Eleanor, age 76. Who began her journey by adding a handful of almonds to her morning oatmeal. Just that. Within weeks, she felt more steady on her feet and less prone to that late morning crash. It was like giving my body a hug, she said, just from the inside. So ask yourself gently, what's one small change you could try this week? Not out of guilt, not out of fear, but out of care. For the one body that's carried you this far. Let's take that step together. There comes a moment in life, not loud, not dramatic, when you begin to wonder, what is all of this for? Not in despair, but in quiet reflection. The children are grown. The career is behind you. The pace of life slows, and the silence that follows can feel both restful and strangely unfamiliar. And yet, inside you, there's still a spark. Because here's the truth. No one says out loud, purpose doesn't retire. You don't stop needing it just because you've blown out 70 or 80 candles on your cake. In fact, you need it more than ever. Purpose doesn't have to be grand. It doesn't have to be saving the world or climbing a mountain. Sometimes, it's a plant that needs watering, a neighbor who needs company, a grandchild who lights up when you tell an old story, or simply waking up and asking, what can I offer the world today? I once met Charles, 84, a former mechanic who'd fallen into a deep sadness after his wife passed. He told me, I felt like the days were just passing me by. His body was weak, his appetite gone. Until one morning, he was invited by his local church to help fix a few broken chairs in the hall. One chair led to another. One task led to conversation. Before long, Charles became the fix-it man again. Not because he had to, but because someone needed him. And something remarkable happened. His energy returned. His posture lifted. He began eating again, walking again, smiling again. I didn't realize I needed to be needed, he said. And maybe that's what aging well is really about. Being needed, being seen, being alive with purpose. So pause for a moment and ask yourself, what do I want the next chapter of my life to feel like? Because it's not over, not even close. There is beauty ahead. There is strength waiting to return. And yes, there is still purpose, glowing quietly within you. Let's now explore the 7 foods that can support that next chapter. By feeding your body the way your spirit longs to be nourished, you've come a long way in this quiet journey, exploring what it truly means to age with strength, dignity, and hope. From the first moment when your body felt heavy and tired, to now when the possibility of renewal feels within reach. Remember this: you are not too old. You are not done yet. Your body still listens. It still responds. It still wants to move, to grow, to heal, when you give it the care it deserves. From fatigue to energy, from fear to hope, from decline to resilience. This transformation is possible. It isn't a distant dream. It's a path you can walk every day with patience and kindness toward yourself. You might feel small steps don't matter, but they do. Every meal where you choose nourishment, every walk you take, every moment you connect with others, these are all acts of courage and love. You are still fighting for your health, and that fight is sacred. It shows your strength, your will to live fully, your desire to savor the days ahead, each one a gift, a new beginning. Like a gentle breeze stirring the leaves, change doesn't have to roar. It just needs a little breath to begin. So, this is your time. Not tomorrow, not later. Now start slow, start small, but start. Because every step forward, no matter how quiet, is yours. And with every step, you reclaim a little more of the life you deserve. Vibrant, strong, and deeply alive. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing hope. The journey continues, and you are not alone. Now, before we part for today, I want to invite you to pause for a moment. Just breathe and think back over what you've heard. What was one thing that made you think differently today? Was it the idea that your body can still rebuild strength? Or the reminder that purpose and connection matter so deeply? Maybe it was a story that touched your heart, or a small practical step that feels doable. Whatever it was, hold on to it gently. Let it settle in like a quiet seed ready to grow. And then ask yourself, softly and kindly, what small change will I try starting tomorrow morning? Maybe it's adding a handful of nuts to breakfast. Maybe it's reaching out to an old friend for a chat, or simply stepping outside to feel the sun on your face. Remember, you don't need to do everything at once. Real change begins with one small choice, repeated day by day. If this message has touched you, I'd love to hear from you. Please share your story in the comments, your wins, your struggles, your questions. Tag a friend who might need to hear this today. Let's build a community where wisdom is shared, support is offered, and growth is embraced together. This channel is more than just a place for advice. It's a space for kindness, for hope, for real connection. And if this video resonated with you, please consider subscribing, because you're not alone on this journey. We're walking this path together, step by step, heart to heart. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your courage. And thank you for choosing to nurture the incredible life still ahead of you.